You know what? It, honestly, yeah, I created the Ariel account.
Hey humans, it's Hannah. Welcome back to the channel, and I am so sorry in advance about today's video. Oh my god, it got so much worse. We have a lot to talk about today. I have been getting request after request, DM, emails, what have you, asking me to do an update on the dad and daughter dream team over on TikTok because there are several huge terrible updates to share with you all, unfortunately. So that is what we're going to do today. I have kind of a correction from last video that I made too, in terms of my opinion changing a little bit. So we're going to do a brief recap of what has happened so far. I'm going to tell you my opinion that has changed a little bit. And then we are going to also get into the updates from them. Several incredibly disturbing updates. Maybe don't eat with this video because yeah. Okay, so real quick, happy minute though. I do need to take a moment for today's sponsor because I can't make videos without them. So sit tight. Today's video is going to be a pretty heavy one. So let's take a really quick palate cleanser break for me to transport you into a world that is uplifting, relaxing, cozy, and most of all, fun. I can't explain to you guys how excited I am to share this with you all because, fun fact, I've actually reached out to this brand before just on my own because I've been playing their game for over 12 years and I'm not exaggerating. I will prove it to you. So when Heyday reached out and they wanted to work together, I did not hesitate. I said absolutely yes, and Heyday is today's sponsor. The game itself is a world building game where you get to build your own farm literally from the ground up. Plant crops, feed your animals, and then pick your crops, collect your animal products, and create food and other really fun goods in the many, many production buildings offered in the game. What I just told you though was really just scratching the surface of this game. Like, there is so much to explore. There's tons of events, there's all kinds of prizes. It's literally like being transported into a little fantasy land where you are the boss of everything. And let me just show you guys my farm because I'm super proud of it. I'm in the level 200s. As you can see, my farm is very advanced. I told you, I've been playing this for over a decade. So not only am I playing the game every single day, but I am also taking holiday season very seriously. As you can see, right now I have all my fall decor and my Thanksgiving stuff out. And then like right after Thanksgiving, like on Black Friday, I will be taking it all down and decorating with all of my Christmas decor. When I decorate my own house for Christmas, I am also taking time to decorate my Heyday farm for Christmas. I do it every single year. There's no ad interruptions, and it is completely free to download on both iOS and Android. Plus, very exciting announcement, Heyday is actually helping me host a giveaway for you guys. In December, we're going to be giving away a $50 gift card. All you have to do to enter is download Heyday using the link in my description, which will be right below this video, or you can scan the QR code, and then once you've downloaded and started playing the game, let me know in the comments what the name of your farm is. And on December 15th, I will pick the winner. Don't worry, all of these details will be written out in text in both the description and the pinned comments. So get farming. Thank you so much to Heyday for sponsoring a portion of today's video. Now let's get into it. Okay, so I made a hour 15-minute video about this duo a few months back. I will try to remember to put a card somewhere up here so you can go watch that video. I will definitely link it in the description for you in case you haven't seen that and you would prefer to go back and watch that entire thing first, or if you need a refresher and you want to watch it again. Because that video already exists, obviously I'm not going to go back and start from the very beginning. You might want to watch that video so you have the full context if you have no idea what we're talking about. I will, however, start with a summary of part one, just so that, again, for those that need it, have been refreshed and we're all up to speed. So the Dad and Daughter Dream Team is a TikTok account. Primarily, the two people that were part of this account was a dad named Patrick. This is Patrick, and his daughter named Sarah. Sarah also has a teenage brother who is a minor, so he's not going to be brought up today. And then there is mom Teresa. Patrick is in his 40s. Sarah is in her early 20s. She should be 23 now, if my math is correct. They have been making TikToks for several years now and have gone viral for all the wrong reasons. Their account originally started with just a dad and daughter who seemed to be very close, and they were doing TikTok trends and dances together. Now, this could have been a cute, innocent thing. He could have just been a goofy dad that's trying to like, hello fellow kids, you know, like get along with all the kids and do little dance trends just to be, you know, funny and slay, right? That would have been cute. But quickly people started to notice some creepy things about Sarah and Patrick. Remember, Sarah's the daughter, Patrick is the dad, Teresa is the wife and mother, but we barely ever see her. So people quickly started to notice that Patrick and Sarah touch a lot in their videos. They would often start their videos out with a hug, or like sometimes a hug with like him swinging her around. And they would always, when they were just talking to the camera, they would always be touching. She would be like clutched onto his arm, or they would be like holding hands. Like, yeah, little kids hold their parents' hands, not usually full-grown adults. They originally went viral because Patrick proposed to Sarah with a purity ring. Basically, the point is that somebody who didn't know who they are would go to their page and think that they were a couple, assume that this was an age gap relationship and that these two were together, because they 1000% act like they are partners. The mom and brother were barely on camera. We do sometimes see them, and Teresa, the mom, would come on and people would notice that she doesn't have a wedding ring on. So Sarah gets a ring, but his own wife doesn't. But just the way that they treat Teresa seems to be really off. Like they kind of are annoyed by her presence and just kind of want her to go away so the two of them can like be together.
If you don't stop keep saying you're ugly, then I'm gonna kiss you.
Okay.
If you do that, sweetheart, I will be right next to you. Hi.
Really?
What?
Really?
Yeah, really.
It's too hot for this.
I don't care.
I do.
Bye.
And then another really important part of the summary is that these two go on to address the haters and claim that they're done addressing the haters what seems like every 2 to 3 business days. So this is their pattern. They get really mad because there's a lot of people on Reddit talking about them. Everybody in the comments is saying how creepy Patrick is and how weird it is that it seems. It appears to us that Sarah has been groomed from an early age. They get mad. They address the haters. They're always like, you can do whatever. We don't care. We're just living life. This is not true. Yada, yada, yada. They either take a break and they say we're leaving social media for a while and then they return 2 days later. Or the other thing they do often is say like, this is the last time we'll be addressing it. Do whatever you want. We're done. We are over it. Yada, yada. They do this over and over and over again. Every single time they do it, it's like it could be a drinking game, but don't do that because it would be really dangerous because they do it every single freaking time.
I know there's still some comments out there that are saying, oh, this is a little off, or blink 3 times if whatever. I don't care. These aren't going to affect us. They're not going to affect this channel. We're going to still bring you the dance trends that you love.
So yeah, there's nothing else but dance trends and fun going on here. I promise. So me and my family are out hiking right now, and we saw this comment and had to respond. But this is the last time I'm responding to comments like these. I post all the videos. I read every comment that you guys post. No, I don't need help. I'm perfectly fine. This is my father. We're doing dance trends and other trends on TikTok. There's absolutely nothing going on here. I don't need help. I'm fine. So just please stop commenting this stuff. I'm fine. You don't have to worry about me. I'm perfectly safe.
I see what the problem is here. I'm talking in English and you're listening in dumbass.
Okay, so you want to know why I look so uncomfortable in the videos? Well, I'm about to tell you. So listen, and listen good. My father is not creepy, weird, or doing anything he's not supposed to do. He's being a father. If you don't like that, you can leave. I love him, he loves me, we're doing something we love together, so you can stop making horrible accusations that are not true in the slightest. I'm fine. I am happy. The problem is, you probably won't believe me, but I don't care. I've said it before and I will say it again. My life is my choice. I don't need to change how I live and interact with my family because a bunch of strangers on the internet think it's weird.
So I think it's time for me to take a little bit of a break. As you know, there's been a lot of controversy, a lot of bull crap, but I think it's time that I step back a little bit. People just love coming after us. And apparently this commenter here thinks that I should defend myself. Don't know what I'm defending myself from, because there's really nothing that's even close to wrong. But I guess, I gotta say it. Stupid, but I gotta say it.
The whole family allegedly lives together and sleeps together in the same bedroom. We'll talk more about that in this video. And then people just fearing for Sarah and her safety, myself included, because she always has these huge bags under her eyes, like she looks exhausted, and it often looks like she's dissociating. Obviously, we can't diagnose that because we're not her mental health professional, but from what we see, it kind of looks like that's possibly what she's doing a lot of the time. The overall consensus being that nobody likes Sarah either. She's been extremely racist in the past and just lots of other stuff. Like, we don't like her. However, most people still see her as a victim. And I do agree that, she's just not a perfect victim. Then last time we found out that both of Patrick's brothers are registered SOs involving minors, and Patrick has admitted to this, but is basically an apologist for them. Basically says that, yeah, they made mistakes, blah, 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 but I'm still going to talk to them. And yeah, very disturbing stuff.
But at the same time, understand that I never supported their behavior at all. I don't feel like I should disown my brothers because of mistakes they've made. Yes, they were horrible mistakes. But I was raised to, you don't abandon family.
And that whole thing leads to a lot of speculation that it is likely, we don't know, but it is likely that Patrick grew up in a not so healthy environment, we'll say. The extent to which we don't know. Okay, so last time we talked about an AI model named Ariella Brigman that people found out that Patrick made. This was a blatant AI model who has an Instagram account that linked to sex work type things. It was Patrick trying to make money off of this AI model, and also, well, again, that's the whole point of this video, honestly, later on. So just sit tight for that. But it's just important to note there was this whole Ariella Brigman saga AI model. Patrick created her, and Sarah and the other family members had interacted with her posts on Instagram in the past. Sarah and Patrick have also written a book together. They adamantly deny that any part of the book is written by AI, that they wrote every word, yet the trailer was made with AI. The cover of the book, we strongly suspect, was made with AI, and they also just lie all the time. And there was some really creepy parts of the book even as well. We're not going to talk much about the book today, but last time I couldn't find the passage of Sarah reading a creepy part of the book. So here is what I was talking about in the first video.
Oh, trust me, when the bond forms, you'll know it.
The feeling was like nothing she had ever experienced in her 17 years. It was as if Aurelia was a part of her now, like she was inside her body. She could feel Aurelia's emotions. She loved her even more now. Aurelia was now a part of her. They were fully connected. There was no distinction. Aurelia was Jalen, and Jalen was Aurelia. "This feels amazing," she said out loud, not meaning to. "I feel connected with you now on a deeper level than I have ever been connected with anyone. That is the eternal bond we now share, dear Jalen," said Aurelia, almost purring with delight because she felt it too.
So, like, the whole book seems to be a sexual innuendo in itself. My overall conclusion in the last video was that these two, there definitely seems to be some sort of at least emotional incest going on. These two seem to act like surrogate spouses. Like Patrick is using Sarah to fulfill what he's not getting in his marriage, and Sarah has just kind of been brainwashed along the way. My personal conclusion is that again, total speculation, but I actually didn't think that Patrick did cross into crossing physical boundaries with Sarah, just because they so adamantly denied it, just because they kept saying over and over how wrong that would be and everything. And I kind of came to this conclusion also being extremely careful legally, because if we don't have definitive proof for these things, for life-altering, life-ruining accusations, we obviously need to be extremely careful about that. And I stand by that. However, I do want to tell you guys how my opinion has changed a little bit after doing a deep dive for this update video. I actually do personally believe that something even worse and nefarious is going on behind the scenes, where it is possible that physical boundaries have been crossed. And again, I do want to be very clear that I don't know that for sure, and that we don't have proof. Innocent until proven guilty, all that jazz. However, it is my personal opinion, based on all of the research and deep dives that I've done, that I would actually now not be surprised if that was the case. Part of my mind was changed when I talked to Mickey Atkins. She's a therapist. She's one of my best friends. Go, if you're not watching their videos, I don't know what you're doing. But anyway, I was talking to Mickey about this whole case, and Mickey, as a therapist, was like, yes, but also sometimes in these abuse situations, they can deny it a lot to the outside world because they know objectively that the world thinks it's wrong and the law thinks it's wrong, but like going on under their roof inside the house. I'm not talking about them in particular, but just sexual abuse cases in general. Sometimes the perpetrator can be very, very much like, oh yeah, but we have to keep it quiet because the world is going to judge us. This has to stay our secret because it's not wrong. They can convince them like, oh, it's a pure, magical, great thing that is normal and it should be celebrated and all that. It's just that we are not what society thinks we should be doing, so we still have to keep it quiet even though it's not wrong. Like that kind of thing where a perpetrator can it's part of the brainwashing, part of the grooming. All of that to say is that Mickey's point was just that from the outside, it may seem like they're not doing anything super terrible behind the scenes, that Patrick isn't, because they're saying it over and over. They're denying it. They're saying how wrong that would be, etc., etc. But Mickey's point was that we don't know this particular situation, but in general, just because people are saying that doesn't necessarily mean that it's not true, which again, in hindsight, I know that's obvious. I think I was a little too caught up in not getting into legal trouble. I got a little too caught up in being like extremely careful about what I said. And I think I just regret giving Patrick a little bit of benefit of the doubt. Last video is like what I'm saying here. So I do apologize for that. And to be fair, like, again, I'm not going to slander anyone or, I'm very careful about defamation. But if we're just being super real here, I'm not exactly worried about Patrick suing me. I'm not gonna lie. Patrick doesn't have the money to sue anybody, first of all. And I think he knows that we know that if he tried to sue somebody, the entire internet would fund that lawsuit. I think if I got sued or another creator got sued, there would be a GoFundMe set up for legal fees. If somebody else gets sued by him, I will donate to that GoFundMe. But like, I'm just saying, like, the internet hates him so much, and he knows he does not look good. He knows that there is stuff to investigate if people looked a little deeper. How many people now have said somebody needs to look on his hard drive? So like, I think he knows that not only does he not have the money to sue, like the whole internet would be against him and it wouldn't work out. And then also, I don't think he wants the court system to investigate them more than they already allegedly are. So I think we're safe in that case. I'm still going to say allegedly. I'm still going to say in my opinion, because I have to just have integrity and not just accuse people of shit willy-nilly. But just on the other hand, I don't think we're too worried about him taking legal action. Okay, so that's kind of a summary. Hopefully you've been refreshed. Hopefully if you've never heard of this, you went back and watched that video. So that brings us to today. And like I said, unfortunately, there are some extremely dark, terrible updates that I think does overall prove that our speculation may be right or might be on the right track. Things got last video was dark. This takes such an insane turn. Okay, so we're going to kind of ease into this here. One of the updates is that Sarah supposedly moved out of her parents' grasp. One of the creepiest things that people find about this family is that they were sleeping in the same room. Some would even say the same bed, but I think they had different beds. I don't know. I want to think that they had different beds at least, but they've been sleeping in the same room together for a long time. Patrick always claims that they're not poor, that they are just fine, well off, that they're not struggling for money in spite of what everybody says. And he claims that they just all live in the same room because they just like each other that much, because they're just that close.
I wouldn't need to create an account for financial means. See, that's the part that really is disconnecting everybody from this whole situation. We are not struggling financially.
No, we're not.
We live where we live because we want to, because it's easier. And for the first 2 years, we couldn't find an apartment because we had an eviction on our record.
I don't care how close your family is, your teenage kid and your older adult daughter deserve privacy and their own space, even if you all live together. Again, unless money is preventing you from giving them their own space, that's a different situation. But Patrick saying that we just like each other that much is not helping his case. He doesn't understand how he's telling on himself by doing that, because if you have the means to give your kids their own space, it is the most ethical thing to do so. So because they get so much shit for this, they, FYI, have moved to an extended stay hotel. They have moved out of the apartment they were originally in. But Sarah claims that while her parents moved into that hotel with the brother, that she moved 30 minutes away into her own new first apartment. But given the financial situation we suspect that they have, everybody was having a hard time believing that Sarah actually moved out, not only for financial situation, but because of how weird she is with Patrick. And sure enough, surprise to no one, they were lying, little liars who lie, because that's all they seem to do, is just lie and lie and lie. The internet found out very, very quickly that she was lying about being 30 minutes away, because they would still post videos of them all being together every freaking day. So she still saw her parents every single day, but she lived 30 minutes away. And then Jackie, their dog, Sarah would have the dog, and then she would go drop the dog off with her parents so she could go to work, which, granted, Sarah did that so the dog wouldn't be home alone for her whole shift, which I do love that. Thank you. I do love not leaving our dogs home for extended periods of time if we don't have to, but the timing wasn't matching up. The way that she got that dog to them and then got it back to her place, the timing of the videos was just not adding up. And then somebody on the subreddit caught this. This was not me, but pictures of her apartment that she shows. So look at this. So the flowers and the dresser right here, right by her bed. And then they're lined up to show that if you look at another picture, another freeze frame of this video, the TV is right next to her bed. You could see that because the flowers and the dresser line up. So that means she's kind of trying to make it look like they're in different rooms, but the TV is literally right next to her bed. And so that indicates to us that all of her stuff is extremely crammed together still. In spite of moving into her own place, like she claims, why is her bed and her dresser exactly the way they were, super, super, super close together. And why wouldn't you get a different bed when you move? Again, maybe you can't afford it, but a lot of people also think like, why would you still sleep in a twin bed, you know, if you have your own place? And then people started to notice that she would never zoom out in her videos. She was always very, very zoomed in. And when she showed parts of her apartment, she would also always be very zoomed in. She would always only show, she'd be very careful not to show the whole thing because like people suspect her family's living in there. She's still just living with her parents. This same Reddit post caught something else very interesting. So the family has done a lot of cooking videos in the past. That's kind of been like Patrick's alternative thing when they're not doing dances together, is Patrick likes to do cooking videos. So we've seen the utensils they use in the cooking videos. This Redditor pointed out that some of the parents' cooking utensils that we've seen in the cooking videos done before were spotted in one of Sarah's cooking videos in her quote unquote new place. Like, do those not look like the exact same thing? So it just wasn't adding up here. It seemed very much to people that she was still living with her parents and just claimed that she was moving out. And a big part of this video today is the live that they did. So you're going to see a lot of clips from the live stream interview interspersed around here. Sarah finally admits to lying about living 30 minutes away. So then they changed the story again, as they do, and they changed the story. Now Sarah is claiming that, no, I did move out, but I just moved next door. Like, I either moved to the building next door or like the room next door. It's an extended stay. So I think they meant like the building, a different building in the extended stay hotel that they're in is what I believe they meant. And so she finally admits that she lied about that. And this is what she had to say about why.
30 minutes from your parents. So how are you getting transportation back and forth to, you know, your job and seeing your parents every day? Are they coming to you? Are you going to them? Are you Ubering? Like, kind of what does that look like?
Okay, well, first of all, I want to make this very clear. I did move out, but I didn't move far. I moved to the next building because it's easier that way. That way they don't have to go very far when they need to pick up Jackie, because again, I don't want to leave her alone for 10 hours per day with her anxiety issues. And the reason I don't show my whole apartment is for my own personal safety reasons, because I just don't like, that's like my own space. I just don't want to be showing my entire personal space online.
And of course, you know, I guess it probably would be a good idea to explain why you lied about being 30 minutes away.
It's because I don't really know how to explain it. I didn't want people to like come at me because I didn't move farther away. Like, I didn't want to be, you know, bullied into like, why didn't you move further away? Why did you only move out of the building? It's personal safety reasons. Like, I don't want to be attacked because I didn't move far enough away.
So no, I did move out. We don't live together. I do understand why she wants people to think that she moved out, so that to like calm down. So like, they're just trying so hard to get some of the accusations down and get some of the heat off of them, but it's not working, and it's not going to work. It's never going to work until you stop lying, because then people were like, okay, then why are you zooming in so close to everything? Why won't you show us your apartment? And she claims that it's for safety reasons. I understand safety reasons on the internet. Hello, I have plenty of creepy DMs that I could show you. Every woman on the internet does. And yes, we do need to be extremely careful about not giving away anything about the area or where we live. However, showing the inside of your house, if you're not doing a full tour and showing people the layout of everything, I do understand not wanting to show people the layout of your entire place. Like, that makes sense. But as long as you're not showing the address, you're not showing the outside of the building so people can't pick up any landmarks, don't show out the windows. Like, if you're just showing a bedroom as a whole, that's not going to risk your safety. And so again, it just seems she's lying, in my opinion. And also, in my opinion, I think she never moved out at all. She's still in her parents' house. The other thing is that a lot of people say that they're in an extended stay hotel and that they move around a lot because CPS has investigated them in the past, allegedly. And allegedly, they also move a lot and then stay at hotels and stuff to kind of dodge CPS, to dodge different entities that might be looking into the family. Now, to be fair, I don't know that for 100% sure. However, everything that Reddit and other internet sleuths have, and the comments and everything have found out so far, have all been true. I have found out, so I am more inclined to believe what people have found than Sarah and Patrick, who literally lie all the time. So that's why I went through the whole moving saga in this. That's not the disturbing part of the updates, but I do think it's important to point out to just really, really drive home how much these two lie. All they do is lie. They lie and they lie and they lie. And no, we don't know them in real life. They're just people on the internet. They don't technically owe us anything, but you cannot get on the internet and want fame, want followers, want to make money, want people sending you gifts off your Amazon list, like Sarah did when she moved. You can't just keep doing that and then expecting people to not criticize you and not get frustrated and not be then investigating more. The more you lie, the more people investigate. I just think that's an important part to illustrate just how deep the lies are, and that that's all they freaking do. They cannot stop lying, and it makes us not believe anything they say then. Okay, so now let's get into the real update, the update that everybody actually is talking about and what people were asking that I talk about. And that is the fact that we are going back to that AI model, Ariella Brigman. Huge trigger warning for the rest of the video. We do have definitive proof that Patrick did in fact make that Ariella Brigman account. Up until this point, up until recently, even though we all knew the truth, he had been denying it tooth and nail. He had been holding on for dear life to this lie, saying he would never do that. It's disgusting. The AI, I don't even know how to use AI. In fact, in the beginning of the live stream, the hour-and-a-half live stream that is a big part of the updates for today, at the beginning, they denied it.
Did you guys make it? And it's unfortunate that it got caught, but it had nothing to do with yours and Sarah's relationship. It was just something to make some money.
No, we did not create that account. I mean, honestly, I'm being completely honest with you. I have no idea what went on with that. All I know is I would never create an account like that. Now, granted, we did like a couple of her posts, or one of her posts in particular, because it was like some Christmas thing, and Sarah saw it after she found the song and wanted to support her in like a contest or whatever.
Okay, reverse the tape a little bit. We're gonna back up yet again, but stick with me. I promise this will all make sense. So there was a part of the saga in part one that I actually didn't end up getting to, and that's because at the time it was kind of this side plot. It was just another example of them being delusional and lying. I didn't get into it in the video because that video was already an hour and 15 minutes long. But there's a whole side plot. If you're familiar with the story, you know who I'm talking about, and that is Jenna Frank. This is Jenna Frank. Sarah has claimed time and time again that Jenna Frank is her best friend. She's used the word best friend on multiple occasions. This is her best friend, her bestie. They hang out and they talk all the time. If you don't know who Jenna Frank is most known for being the daughter of one of the original Power Rangers. But with that, she has also built her own following on social media, and she's a bona fide influencer now. So people kind of know her for being the daughter of a Power Ranger, but she kind of then has a following from that, and now she's a very, a pretty popular influencer. So because she's the daughter of a Power Ranger and has an audience online, she goes to a lot of meet and greets. She goes to a lot of events to meet the fans. Like I said, Sarah says they're best friends. Allegedly, Patrick, a lot of people speculate that Patrick became pretty obsessed with Jenna, just seeing her online as an influencer. So, of course, Jenna and Patrick go to a lot of her meet and greets, spend hundreds of dollars to get meet and greet passes to meet Jenna Frank. The only time that anybody has ever found that Sarah hangs out with her best friend is when she goes to meet her at meet and greets. after she paid money to go see her. And Patrick and her are like, no, this is different. We're just not other fans. She is always so happy to see us, more so than other people. Like this is different. You guys don't understand. We are really close on a personal level. And she like absolutely loves us. She's so delighted to see us. Like, here's a clip from the live stream of him talking about that.
Her reaction when we saw her at events was always over the top. Like, she was so happy to see us. She'd run to us immediately, give us hugs. She was our friend.
Yeah, there was one we went to in Oklahoma City, and we got there before her. And when she saw us through those doors, her face lit up like a Christmas tree, and she went immediately to give us a hug. So I know for a fact that she was my best friend. That's why I don't understand why she would believe these people.
So surprise, they're lying / delusional? I don't know. I'll let you decide for yourself. People have always accused Sarah of lying about this because the only time she ever seems to have hung out with her best friend, Jenna, is at meet and greets where Sarah and Patrick have paid hundreds of dollars to go. And people, and including myself, are like, Sarah, girl, that woman is not your best friend. That woman doesn't even know you. Yes, she's super bubbly and nice to you because it's her job. Because she's at a meet and greet where she's meeting fans, she has to be super nice to them. And even if she's extra nice to you, I have a sneaking suspicion it's because she recognizes you because you stalk her to all her meet and greets. You go to every single one of her meet and greets. So yeah, she probably recognizes you, and then she's extra nice to you because she knows how much money you spend to see her, and you're devoted enough that you see her multiple times. I also suspect, I don't know for sure, but I also suspect that because they are so socially awkward and just objectively weird, I also have a feeling that Jenna might feel a little sorry for you. So she wants to make your day and be nice. She's probably just a nice person. Sarah adamantly denies this, though. Sarah's like, no, we're best friends. You guys don't understand. I mean, I don't have her number or anything, but that's because she has to change her number a lot because of creeps on the internet, because she has a lot of stalkers and creeps, so she has to change her number all the time.
Were you guys friends, though, like texting wise? Did you guys ever like hang out outside of these meet and greets? Like, what did that friendship look like aside from the meet and greets?
We didn't really hang out much in person because, like, obviously she lives in Houston. Well, now she lives in LA, but she lived in Houston at the time, and she was always super busy, like with events and like meet and greets and stuff like that. So we never really hung out in person. We were going to make plans, but then, you know, she blocked me. But we did message very frequently on Instagram because she had to change her phone number several times because of crazy fans calling her. So, but we did talk on Instagram quite a lot.
Your best friend would still give you their new number. What do you mean? That just obviously makes no sense. And we know this all for a fact because a lot of people then were messaging Jenna. A lot of the people following all this were DMing Jenna, telling her that they were talking about her being their best friend and yada, yada, yada. And Jenna came out allegedly to these DMs and said, that's not true. I don't know who these people even are. I don't know them. I've just seen them at the meet and greets. This is really creepy. So people were tipping off Jenna to what they were saying about her. And then Jenna blocks Sarah on Instagram. And this is what Sarah had to say about that.
It was a little shocking to me, but I mean, I can share because this is honesty, but he explained this on his channel. But the last time that we went to see her, you know, we went up there, we said hi, and we talked to her. I gave her a birthday present, showed her the song I made for her, and she was happy to see us like she always is. And the day after we got back, I went to Instagram to check on her story and just like see if she had seen mine because I posted a story about it. I wanted to see if she had seen it, and I got a reply from her. And then shortly after that, I went back to Instagram, and it looked like I had been blocked. And we thought it was just an Instagram glitch because that's happened before. You know, we've been accidentally blocked on another social media, and we fixed it. She was apologetic and we fixed it. But this time she did actually block me, and I didn't get a reason. I didn't understand why she did it. I didn't get any kind of explanation. So I think maybe some trolls were like messaging her or emailing her saying that, you know, what you said, that the AI account resembled her, and she believed it and blocked me. And like he said, we haven't messaged her because we don't want to come off as stalkers. I don't understand. I don't know why she blocked me. It's just like she said before that, you know, she gets it all the time, but I think maybe she believed them and blocked me. So
Sarah's like, no, we are best friends. The trolls just got to her. It's always the trolls and the haters. I'm so sorry. One of your good friends or your best friends or something, would they ever just block you without any explanation? Like, you would know. You would have gotten in a fight and it would have been pretty obvious that they were going to block you, or they would have told you like, hey, I don't like you anymore. We're not friends. You would have got, something would have happened. She wouldn't just block you out of the blue. That makes no sense whatsoever. Unfortunately, Sarah, I personally think, is just completely delusional in this situation. Okay, so that's Jenna Frank, and I know that's gonna sound like, why did you even bring that up if you aren't familiar? But the reason that I bring Jenna Frank up and why she's an important side plot is because that AI model, Ariella Brigman, notice any similarities? This is Jenna. This is Ariella. Yeah. They look weirdly similar, don't they? Yeah. Remember how I said that it's speculated that Patrick was obsessed with Jenna as an influencer as well? Yeah. We personally believe that Patrick made Ariella in the image of Jenna, that he basically plugged Jenna's picture into the AI machines and asked them to make a sex worker model based off of Jenna Frank. That's total speculation. I do need to be careful about that. That is speculation. That is my opinion. I do personally think that it's true because they just look too similar, and it wouldn't surprise me at all. We all know Patrick is a creep. Now, the whole internet believes that this Ariella AI model account is Patrick's, was something Patrick created, because randomly Sarah posts I explained this in part 1, but Sarah posts a video dancing to an AI song one day on TikTok, and people were like, girl, that song wouldn't just pop up on somebody's Spotify. That makes no sense. And the song was by Ariella Brigman. So people looked her up and then found the Instagram account where like Sarah was liking stuff on the account, Patrick and the other family members allegedly liking stuff on this account. We don't have a ton of proof of that, unfortunately, but it just kind of all then spiraled, because then when you Google Ariella Brigman, Sarah's stuff just comes up without any prompting, without anything having to do with the daddy-daughter dream team. People have connected the emails to like Patrick's email to the Ariella Brigman account, and Ariella Brigman has not only an Instagram, but she also had a Literotica account and a FanView account as well. I know that was a big info dump. If you're lost, here's a quick little recap. So Sarah claims that she's best friends with influencer Jenna Frank, who Jenna Frank denies this and blocked Sarah. Patrick was allegedly obsessed with Jenna Frank, and we think / allegedly, in the internet's opinion, Patrick made an AI model account based off of Jenna Frank, and he made this AI model into an Instagram account and then a FanView and Literotica account. Again, we think to make money, but it seems like there's more to that than just that. If you don't know, FanView, spelled FanVue, is like OnlyFans. It is pretty much the exact same thing, except from my understanding, FanView has more AI components to it and probably allows AI models, whereas I don't think OnlyFans does. So that is FanView. So she basically has an OF. And then Literotica, if you don't know, Literotica is a website where anybody can post stories, fictional stories on the website, but it's corn, it's erotica. The whole website is devoted to specifically fictional, written fanfics, corn, every category of human sexuality that you could think of is on Literotica, but it is devoted to being dirty. This is already disturbing enough to me as it is, like full stop. Like we could just stop there, and if there was nothing else, that would still be really creepy. But then somebody actually found and archived an old Literotica story that Ariella Brigman wrote. This AI model wrote a story. Bracing myself to have to explain this to you guys. So Ariella Brigman's first story on Literotica, again, this was deleted, but it's been archived, was Dad and Me Chapter 1. the beginning. And the little like subtitle says, Dad and I finally get the relationship we both need. I can't read you this entire chapter. Obviously, it's corn. I can't read that on YouTube, nor do I want to, nor do you want to hear it. Trust me. I could not read the whole thing. I read bits and pieces. I was out though. I could not read this because knowing who wrote, you get it. I can read you the first paragraph though. That is safe for YouTube. This is where I say, if you're eating, stop. Remember, this man allegedly wrote this. Hello, my name is Ariala. I have been wanting to tell my story for a long time, but it isn't something I can really talk about with a lot of people. Even living in Rhode Island, where incest is legal, it is still frowned upon and considered wrong. I really don't understand why. What difference does it make if family members want to be sexually involved? Hell, nowadays, it is acceptable to engage in sexual activity with multiple people that you barely know, but not the people you're closest to and have a bond of trust with. Oh my God, this makes me want to puke. This is what I'm saying. Patrick can't use the this is just a fantasy defense, because it definitely doesn't seem like it's just a fantasy for him. This is the reason why this is so disgusting to me. This is why the Ariella Brigman thing is 1,000 times worse than we ever thought, because to Patrick, in my opinion, this is not just a fantasy to him. I personally think that Patrick wrote this, allegedly, not only because he's fantasizing about his own biological daughter, but also in an effort to normalize, defend, and minimalize incest abuse. I think he also wrote this as a way to make himself feel better, to make himself, if he can defend it, put it out in the world, it makes himself feel like a little bit like he's not as bad of a person. This is despicable. To defend it, saying like it's better to have sex with a family member who you groomed from a young age because you are their parent, their caregiver, the person they're supposed to trust more in the world, the person who's supposed to keep them safe. And you think, well, we're close, so we should be. But people have multiple partners all the time. Patrick, those are not even close to the same things, but he is minimalizing, denying, and defending it. Okay, so Hannah, I thought you said that Patrick has been denying that he had anything to do with Ariella Brigman. Yes, that is true. He says that he had nothing to do with this. It was just a coincidence that Sarah found an AI song that nobody had ever heard of and then made a dance to it on TikTok. It was just a coincidence that then all of the accounts mysteriously were deleted and disappeared minutes after Reddit caught on. That's just all a coincidence. And remember how in that live stream I told you that they denied it in the beginning, and I showed you the clip of them denying any involvement with the Ariella Brigman account, and that Sarah was like, no, I just found an AI song. It was a total coincidence. Well, later in that live stream, and this is really why we're all gathered here today, later in that live stream, Patrick finally admits it. He finally admits it. The interviewer / TikTok creator who has been in contact with them, who has been getting a lot of info out of them, good copped her way basically into convincing Patrick into admitting this finally. And he did. So here's that clip.
Like it is. But if it is you, like I said, there's nothing illegal on it. So why not just tell the truth? It's going to help you. I promise you, if you were just honest about it, people will respect you. And people will back off of you. People are not going to let this go. And I'm here with you with 4.5 thousand people, and there's 14,000 people on Reddit who are coming at you hard. They're coming for the jugular with you. And they're not going to let up because they feel like they just want a little bit of the truth. You don't want to share everything? That's fine. You don't have to. That's your prerogative. But just this one thing, I guarantee you, if you're honest, you're going to wake up feeling, if you believe in God, right?
Yeah.
I do too. I've come to know God, and I've
seen your recent content.
As long as it's not illegal. That account on Reddit and on Instagram and on Venmo, that is not illegal. That is 100% fine. Okay, here's the thing too. You can literally type up AIP on the internet, and there's thousands of it on there. People enjoy that stuff. I don't. I'm not a fan of it, but people do. Who cares? People will pay top dollar for a hot looking AI model. They're starting to bring them into movies. I just think if you're just honest about this, people will finally be like, oh my God, thank God. Like, here we are, the truth. Like, people will start to trust you. You want that, right?
Yeah, but here's the thing. Honestly, you know what? Fuck it. Honestly, yeah, I created the Ariel account. I made that account.
Patrick, thank you. You have been set free, man. You're set free. Doesn't that feel good? Sarah, give your father a hug.
We already knew this, but it's a certain level of something to have Patrick actually say the words. So he admits to creating Ariel Brigman originally and making the Instagram account, but he still adamantly denies making the Literotica or the FanView account.
If you want me to be completely honest, I was really close to telling the truth until the Literotica account was found. And that scared the hell out of me.
Because he thought that people were going to think that was him. And when he told me that people had a Literotica account, he told me he was scared because he thought that people were going to connect that with him. And because he knows he can't write that stuff, that's what scared him, is because they thought it would be connected to him. And he knows, we all know for a fact that he could never, ever write that stuff.
So I'm a writer, but not of that.
And it seems like he's trying to go with the tactic of well, maybe if I admit to something less, not as big of a deal, a smaller version of the truth, which he also does a lot. Maybe if I just admit to that, then they'll lay off a little bit. Then I finally admitted it. And Hannah manipulates him into telling him in the beginning that people will respect you. People will lay off. People will respect you after this. I think that he thinks that if he just admits to something less, a version of the truth, then people will lay off. He's basically implying that somebody frames him for the other accounts, that somebody else created those accounts knowing he created the Instagram account, and he said that he wanted to make the Instagram account to hopefully get sponsorships in the future. So that was his reasoning for making the Instagram account in the first place. But he still said, no, I would never write anything like that, like the what we just read. I would never write anything like that. I would never make a FanView account. I would never do that. That's disgusting. Somebody framed me. Somebody knew that it would make me look really, really bad, which again doesn't make a lot of sense given that all the accounts were allegedly deleted right after everybody found out about that. That's just a coincidence too. That makes no sense. And then Sarah in this entire live stream, she's sitting there and she comes back, she hears Patrick admit to the Ariella Brigman account, the Instagram account, and she definitely knew. She's not shocked. She's not what the hell? She's defending him still. And then Patrick also says in the live stream that the big thing that he admits is that he had a corn addiction in his early 20s, and he makes a huge freaking deal about it in the live stream. He makes it very much this was really hard for me to admit, and Sarah's but it was really brave of you to admit it and stuff.
How much we try and change their beliefs, they're not going to change.
Well, if you want to know the honest truth, admitting that I had a porn addiction in my 20s is probably going to get me a lot more hate on Reddit, but I don't care.
And it was a big leap of courage for you to do that. Not many people would admit that.
And again, he's trying to admit some things to try to distract people and try to make it seem like he is being honest. He's trying to give the illusion of honesty and transparency, but still lying about so much other stuff. He thinks that this is going to make people trust him. Nobody trusts him. And also, can we talk about how creepy it is to talk about your previous corn addiction with your daughter right there? Again, normal dad and daughter relationships, that would be so crossing a line. Ew, I know that that's a legitimate addiction and everything. I do understand that, but ew, why would you tell your kids about that? That's ugh. Okay, so then the interviewer's name is Hannah. She was the one running this live. She's another side plot. Everybody on the snark page on Reddit seems to not like Hannah because they seem to think that she is like just after her 5 minutes of fame and she's like breadcrumbing people because she has all this information because Patrick and Sarah like talk to her personally and in the DMs and stuff. And Patrick and Sarah always like praise her for like, even though she doesn't like them and all that, like she's still respectful. And
Thank you.
Welcome, Patrick. I'm glad we were able to do this.
Being respectful for not being forceful, but persistent.
And she's still being so nice in the interview and everything. And so they keep like praising her for that. And so she has all this inside scoop, which it's like, yeah, of course she's going to be nice. You can't get information out of people. They're not going to admit stuff if you're nasty to them. So of course she's going to be nice. She's manipulating you, but which I don't blame her to do. I would do the same thing. But a lot of people on Reddit don't like her because it feels like she's like not reporting it enough, like not reporting it to authorities, and like also just like really enjoying getting all the views and the attention from knowing stuff that is not public knowledge and having that inside scoop kind of thing. That's a whole, I'm not going to get too much into it. I don't really have an opinion on Hannah. I don't know her. I also have not been following like her TikToks and everything like that. So just FYI, if you wanted me to talk about that, like that's a whole other side plot that I'm not going to get into today, but I wanted to mention it just so that you guys know that I'm not like endorsing Hannah, just in case there is problematic stuff going on, just to say I'm a little bit ignorant to that side plot. But with all that, Hannah does have DMs from Patrick that she posted that does him admitting, again, remember how he still adamantly denies actually writing the Literata account? Well, here's a message that he wrote in the DMs to Hannah where he does admit to it. And he also admits to Sarah not actually moving out. So this is what he said to Hannah. Unless these are like somehow insanely photoshopped, which I don't think they are. So Patrick tells her, of course it does. So yes, I wrote that story. That is the only story like that I have ever written. I don't believe him. It was complete fiction and it was hard for me to even write. This is just so hard for me, you guys. But I was being stupid trying to get traction for the whole AI account, and terrifying as it is, most of the top read stories on Literotica are from that category. Notice again, he tries to use manipulative language of like, as terrible as it is, no, I think it's terrible too. I think all that stuff is disgusting. I would never do that. But you were able to write an entire story about it. And oh my God, the story, like I said, I can't read it to you, is so graphic, is like genuinely corn. And it was so hard for me to write that. No, it was so hard to write it, but I had to. Like, Patrick, shut up. There, I said it. Now you know everything that we have lied about, except for one thing. Again, something he always says along those lines. He almost says that every video. Sarah never moved out completely. We got a 2-bedroom apartment at the extended stay, and the second bedroom has a second kitchen and a door, so it's kind of the same, but not really. So many people were pressuring her to move out and that she just wanted to try to get a break from it all, and she didn't want to leave TikTok, so she felt that it was better to just make people believe that she left. That is that, and that is the full truth. But in order to truly understand how I could possibly justify trying to make money off of that, then my life and the events leading up to it are even more important. So do with this information what you will. If you're willing to hear the rest, then I will put together a biography of my life, as short as I can make it. I pray that my trust is not misplaced. Now you know everything. That's all the lies. Again, he says that all the freaking time. He says something along those lines of like, there, all the lies are out. Now you guys can trust me because I finally told the truth. And again, he's like, oh, so he has admitted to this. All those accounts were his. He's a disgusting person. Nobody writes that because it was hard for me to write. You wouldn't write it then. And then we also, from another notable post from Reddit, we also have somebody in the comments of one of the TikToks. So this was a comment left on a TikTok, and this is somebody who seems to know the family. And Reddit did verify this in the post by the last name of the person who wrote this comment seems to match up with a mutual friend with Teresa on Facebook and other social media sites. I'll post all the screenshots here. You can pause to read it if you want to look at the proof that this person knows them. I'm going to read this to you pretty slowly. There's a lot of grammatical areas and they didn't use any punctuation in this entire thing, but I think it's a really interesting comment to read. So this person said, "That is exactly what happened with Teresa. She went to work at McDonald's. I used to live with her and date her brother," so the wife's brother. "She went to work and we used to take her to work and drop her off, pick her up, and all of a sudden she started talking about this guy named Patrick, and I guess you went to school with him for a short time, but she didn't know who he was until she started McDonald's, and then she suddenly just moved out and wanted to be with him all the time, and her mother and father tried to stop it, but there's nothing that we could do because she's an adult." This part doesn't make a ton of sense, but she is as slow. She does things and has to have guidance and everything. And he took advantage of her and he still is. And I've tried to talk to her, but she just won't come to her senses that Patrick's a bad person. I believe that sentence. Like I said, this person's punctuation isn't great, but I think what they're saying is that Teresa may, again, this has been speculated by many, that Teresa may have some sort of mental developmental delays. I don't know that. She seems like a really fun, lovely person from all the info, from all the stuff I've seen. I mostly feel bad for Teresa. And if that's the case, obviously that says nothing about her as a person, but it means that she needs extra support. And if she did have some sort of disability, they're accusing Patrick of basically taking advantage of that, which would surprise no one, I think. And everything her brother has seen, some of the videos that the Dream Team has put up there with his niece. So if she dated Teresa's brother, then Teresa's brother's niece is Sarah. So that's who he's talking about. And the brother, he's not a happy camper. And everything we've been trying our hardest to get Sarah and his brother, so the teenage minor son, and Teresa, the mom, out of the situation. We're hoping that Patrick goes to jail or something like that because he is the way to get Teresa back up to Vermont where she belongs near her family. They're currently in Texas. So, like I said, I know that that's a little convoluted because this person was like typing really fast and probably rage typing and felt some kind of way. But that is also just, I really wanted to read that because it's such a telling comment. It does seem like that has been verified, that is likely somebody who's not bullshitting and actually knows the family. And it seems like, yeah, no, this is confirmation that it is as bad as we think, and that Patrick is sure enough just a piece of garbage. So obviously not a shock to anybody. I think Patrick is a lying liar who lies. I hate him. I think he's gross. I think he should be investigated at the very least. I think there is enough to have somebody should be investigating him, maybe checking his hard drives. Again, allegedly, in my opinion. I just think, even if there's nothing on there, I just don't think it would hurt to check. I just think that if there's anybody in this world that should have their computer checked, that maybe Patrick, with all this evidence of him being a creep, should be one of them. As for Sarah, I personally think I get really frustrated when people are so mean to Sarah. I understand, it's tempting to make fun of somebody's looks, but people do it a lot on the Snark Reddit, and I'm so torn on the Snark Reddit because on the one hand, they helped a lot with this video, and they're such good investigators, right? This is why we know any of this, is because of the Snark Reddit, so I really appreciate them for that, and I think the majority of people on there are genuinely just concerned for Sarah and just trying to figure out what's going on, but of course, as we see on Reddit with Snark pages, they get out of hand really quick, and there is just a lot of, again, I don't want to blame the whole subreddit, but there's people in there that are consistently just bullying Sarah, making fun of her looks, telling her how ugly her bangs are, how ugly she dresses, how her fashion, blah, blah, blah. Just all this irrelevant stuff that just is going, in my opinion, to make her fall more in with her dad, because then we're just mean. We're just trolls. We're just bullies. So all that's going to do is push her further into her dad's grasp. I said this in the other video as well. And yeah, people make fun of her appearance and stuff. I think that's completely irrelevant. I'm not saying she's a good person. She's also really shitty a lot of the times. She also lies a lot. She has been racist in the past. That was in the other video. And she has just also been shady at best. Like, there's been a lot of things that I think are valid to criticize her for. But just because you're like cringe or not the best person ever doesn't mean that you can't be a victim. Like, she was still a victim of grooming by her dad, in my opinion. And there's no perfect victim. And when we say that, that means that even mean people, even nasty people that are unlikable, they still deserve victim advocacy. They still deserve help because they're a victim. Even a really, really shitty, nasty person, it doesn't mean that you deserve to be abused. And I think a lot of her behavior can be explained by her environment. I don't want to speak on behalf of the racism thing. She's still responsible for what she says. She's still responsible for her own actions. And obviously I'm white. I can't speak on that. However, for all the other criticisms she gets, I think people need to remember, I don't think she ever went to school. I think she's been homeschooled, whatever that means. They obviously, like, again, I'm not trying to make fun of their appearance. There's many reasons that people might be disheveled, but people have pointed out a lot of hygiene concerns with the family, just a lot of not taking care of themselves. So they're all in this little cult-like thing. Again, opinion, not a fact. Sarah's been groomed from a very, very early age to be this close with her dad. They all live in this bedroom together, and they always have. She has been homeschooled, I believe, no contact with the outside world, and then grew up believing that this is a normal type of relationship to have with your father. I do think it's a little unfair for us to expect her to be perfect or expect her to have great takes on everything. You know what I mean? She has been thoroughly brainwashed. I feel like it's really unfair to expect her to be on the educated level, to be on the social norm level that we all are. I just think that's unfair. And just because I don't like her either, you guys, like, I don't like her. Like, I'm not saying that I like her, that I think that I want to hang out with her and get coffee. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that she's still a victim, and I can still have empathy for that. And I hope other people do too. And taking low-hanging fruit and cheap shots is going to do the opposite of what you want. That's just going to make her, for like, if somebody's in a cult, and I'm not saying she is, but like, if somebody else is in a cult, time and time again, cult experts say that the way to get people out of them is to not pressure them, is to not insult them, not be like, hey, you're in a cult, or hey, you're stupid, you're delusional, you're crazy, can't you see that you're in a cult? All that does is make them go, oh my God, it's us against them. Everybody on the outside is so mean, but everybody on the inside is love bombing me and thinks I'm great and is so accepting and loves me and stuff. The best thing to do for somebody in a cult is, all you have to do is keep being their friend and tell them as often as you can, as often as it's appropriate, to tell them that I am here for you if you need a safe place to go. That is the best way to help people get out of cults, is to be kind, let them know there's a safe landing pad for them outside of that if they were ever to want to leave. I know that's very similar to what I said in the other video, but I just think it's very important. I think in spite of all the updates and my change in some opinions, I think that that is a very important point to continue to drive home, is that sending hate and actually taking shots at her appearance is just going to make it worse. One last very exciting announcement for you guys is we have new merch. My Christmas merch is out. I created this design with the same artist that made the Camping Cryptids merch. So here's the design. Eek! It's so cute. I love it. So here's the design. If you look, it kind of just looks like a cheery little Christmas scene with elves being adorable and helping Santa by the fireplace. But if you look closely, the remnants of Santa are all around them, in the stockings around him. And if you look closely in the fireplace, Santa's skull is in the fireplace and Rudolph's head is on the mantle. The concept that I had for this is that the elves wanted to form a union and Santa said no, and Santa hasn't been the best boss or paying them as much, and the elves were sick of Santa's shit. So they turned on him. That's kind of the like little background context of it. But it is very much like, it's kind of, the whole idea is that it's supposed to kind of look cheery and merry and just Christmassy from afar, but then once you actually look at it, you're like, what the fuck? So that's kind of the joke. And this time, rather than on the front, these are actually going to be on the back. So it's going to be on the back. These are going to look best on the sweaters, but we are making t-shirts as well. The design is going to be on the back. And then I actually have typography for this one. So on the front pocket, this is the typography for it. It's going to be The Horrible Holiday. So it is a little bit of a play on my YouTube name, but not fully just like advertising for my YouTube channel, because I am personally not a huge fan of just like having my name plastered on t-shirts. That's not my favorite thing. I like stuff that you can actually just put in your wardrobe and be good conversation pieces, or just something that you genuinely want to wear and not just to like rep a random YouTube channel. So it's called The Horrible Holiday, and it's again in very, very cheery letters, cheery Christmassy letters, even though it is an actual horrific scene going on back there. So I hope you guys like it. This is a limited drop. This is only going to be available, I think, until December 7th, I think is the last day that Bonfire is my merch thing. So that's like the last day you can get it before Christmas. I think I'm going to sell them probably a little further than that. I'll probably sell them till like December 15th or so, or maybe up until Christmas. I haven't decided the exact date, but these are not going to be available in 2026. We will just say that. If you want this, you have to pick it up in the next month or so, just FYI. But I will have all the details about when you have to order to get it in time for Christmas if you would like that down below. Just go click on the site because we have lots of different designs that you could pick from, and I'm so excited. So I hope you like it. Thank you again so much to Heyday for sponsoring today's video. Don't forget to comment your farm name in the comments, and then on December 15th I will pick the winner of the $50 gift card. It'll be like a virtual Amazon gift card or Visa gift card, something like that. So yeah, as always, thank you to all my patrons. Here are the top tier alien patrons on the screen right now. Just FYI to everybody, I will, if I haven't followed you on social media, as that's one of your perks, I am getting to it. I only check the DMs over there like once or twice a month and go through and do those kind of in chunks. So if you haven't gotten a message from me yet about that, please sit tight for a little bit. I promise I will DM you, and it is coming. But our newest top tiers this month is Emma, lol. Thank you so much, Emma. And Zane also just became an alien tier member. Thank you guys so much. And I will see you all in the next one. Okay, bye.
Honestly, I am not trying to be less than truthful. I didn't even know that particular category existed. I wasn't even looking for that kind of stuff, because that, even in my 20s, that would have been extremely disgusting to me.